Alright, so we're going to start off with our table of contents. So make sure you write this down. Today's date is the 15th. Today's topic is expression versus equation. So we're going to be looking at the two and the difference. And that is on page 41. So I'm going to turn to page 41. And I'm going to write my page number and my title once again. Expressions versus equations. Alright, so since we're looking at the two, on the left side, I am going to write about expressions, and on the right side, I am going to have equations. And I'm going to draw a line about halfway. And I'm going to underline my two topics, my two titles. Alright, so expressions, we're going to start off there. Expressions contain numbers, variables. You're probably wondering, what are variables? Well, variables are all those letters that you see in math. They are called variables. And they stand for an unknown value. We don't know what the value is, so they use letters. And they are joined by operations. And my operations are adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. So numbers and letters that are joined by our operations. Now the main thing about expressions, so we're going to draw a star, is that they do not, and I'm going to underline it because it's important, they do not have an equal sign. So that means there's no answer. If we don't know what the answer is, it's an expression. Or we can solve for it. So it would look something like 6 divided by x. And it can be any letter in the alphabet. So expressions do not have equal signs. Now equations, they also contain numbers, variables, which are our letters for unknown values, and they are connected by a equal sign. And notice how the word equal starts off with the same letters as equation. EQUA, EQUA. So that is one way to remember that if it has an equal sign, that means it is an equation. So star, this is important, has an equal sign. So equations have equal signs, expressions do not. So if they have an equal sign, that means they have an answer. We know what the answer is, or we can solve for the answer. And it could look like t minus 5 equals 3. So notice how we can have different variables. So since this one has an equal sign, this is what makes it an equation. So now let's look at some examples. Example 1. So sometimes you'll be given examples like this where you see the numbers and the letters, and sometimes you'll be given sentences. So like 2 times a number is 14. 2 times a number is 14. So I'm going to start breaking it up, and I'm going to write it as a math sentence. So 2 times a number. Since we don't know what number exactly they're talking about, we can use a variable. So I can use n for number. And 2 times the number is 14. So they tell us that 2 times a number is going to be 14. So our keyword here was the word is. So anytime you have the word is followed by a number, that's the answer. They're giving us an answer. So we're going to have an equal sign. So would this be an expression or an equation? It will be an equation because it has the equal sign. Let's try another one. The sum of a number plus 2. The sum of a number plus 2. So if I read it, the sum of a number plus 2. So a number plus 2. Since we don't know what the number is, we're going to use n. Plus means to add, and we're adding it by 2. Do we know, or do they tell us what n plus 2 is? No, we didn't have a keyword that told us. So this means that it is an expression. Let's try one more. This one's a little bit tricky. A number is decreased by 5. So a number, so n, we don't know what that number is decreased by 5. So the number is being decreased, and decreased means subtract. So we're going to subtract the number by 5. Do they tell us what the answer is, or what is a number minus 5? No. Although we do see the word is, there's no number after it. So it doesn't give us an answer. So that means that this is an expression. Alright, at this time, go ahead and do your assignment.